The good old days when I had nachos in this helmet. And now the Angels. It's okay, Dave. You don't have to hang your head. The Angels have been eliminated, and so have the Braves from my Bitty Bats League playoffs and such. As you can see, I was down in the dumps yesterday. Took a day off, and then the Freeway Series. Congratulations to the Angels for beating the Dodgers and preventing them from another 11-game winning streak. Now, you got to do it 3 more times, all right? So let's rep your colors and all that good stuff. And rep LA, Orange County, you know. And, you know, like just give me a consolation prize or something so I can get excited about, since you guys are no longer in my league, my playoffs and all that. So as far as you Dodger fans go, well done, well done. The Dodgers and the Padres both advanced to the semifinals. They handled their business. The Dodgers had one more game going up against the Giants on Sunday. They handled the Rockies, beat them by 6 points. The Giants lost by, gosh, what did the Giants lose? They lost 8-2, so they lost by 6 points. So the Dodgers handled the Giants in their fantasy matchup. Dodgers clean sweep. The Giants got swept. So the Giants lost. San Diego was facing against Detroit, and the Yankees were playing Texas. And those are pretty decent matchups. Looks like, wow, New York actually just won one game of those two, dropped the next two. And San Diego, they won the first two and dropped the last one. So San Diego was doing pretty well going into Sunday's matchup against, Sunday's the last matchup against Detroit, game against Detroit, and the matchup against the Yankees in my fantasy championship bracket here. San Diego advances. Congratulations. So these two teams, the Dodgers and the Padres, are sitting pretty. They haven't lost in my Bitty Bats playoffs in a double elimination tournament. They remain in the champions bracket. Those other two teams, the Yankees and the Giants, although they pretty much got smoked, they just fall from the champions bracket down into the contenders bracket. They now each have 1 loss. So the Yankees and the Giants live to bat another day, Tuesday, in fact, which is tomorrow, 30 minutes from now. And they will be facing the winner of teams that are already in the contenders bracket. You had Pittsburgh going up against LA. Obviously, by my demeanor, you know the Angels lost. Going into Sunday's games, Pittsburgh was only up by like a 7-point swing against the Angels. Pittsburgh was playing St. Louis. They were crushing the Cardinals. They had already won 2 games. LA had split 2 games with Boston at that point. They lost the first. They won the second. So there was an outside chance that the Angels may have a chance. You know, you're telling me there's a chance? So I had my hopes up. Turns out the Angels, you know, they played first. They won their game 4-2, and their point differential with Boston, they broke even. So, you know, they scored X amount of points. Let's see, they scored 4 plus 6 plus 4. So they scored 14 points, and then they lost. And then Boston scored 14 points, 9, 3, and 2. So Boston scored 14, LA scored 14. So in their matchup with Boston, they kind of broke even on point differential. Pittsburgh, however, I think it was like the Cardinals needed to beat Pittsburgh by 5 or more, and the Angels were going to win. And Cardinals beat Pittsburgh on Sunday by 4 points. 4, and they needed 5, or the Angels needed 5. So I was just, I was heartbroken. But that's just the way the ball gets hit out the park and bounces in the infield, and some people win, some people lose, right? So Pittsburgh moves on, they move on to live another day in the contenders bracket. They already have one loss, which got them to the contenders bracket. So now they will face either New York or San Francisco, and I'll let you know what that's going to be at the end. You had Atlanta going up against Boston. In that series, Atlanta was up by 1 point on Boston in the point differential. With the two first games they played, they beat Milwaukee 5-4 and 3-1 first two games. Then you had Boston, who split their series with the Angels, or split the first two games at least, 9-4 and then 3-6. They won the first game, they lost the second game. So then Boston goes ahead and does Atlanta a favor. They lose their game 4-2 against the Angels, and Atlanta, all they needed to do really was they were ahead in point differential. I think at that point, I think they were ahead by 3 points, and they ended up they went into it. Yeah, they went into it being a point ahead of Boston. Boston lost to the Angels by 2 points, so Boston drops to -3. -3 against Atlanta, and then Atlanta gets blown out by the Brewers. They lose 7-0. All year long, the Braves were the number one team pretty much in my league. They were 10-2 entering the playoffs, and that last game in the contenders bracket. I mean, they lost initially to drop into the contenders bracket. They lost the first game of the playoffs, and then this one they couldn't get over the hump. They couldn't win in the playoffs basically. So that's a damn shame for Atlanta. Seeing what happened to their football team and everything for the Super Bowl, and now they just choke in my playoffs. So Boston moves on and Pittsburgh moves on. So they will face